one.
Welcome to Before the Score, episode number 30, the big 3-0. Patrick Mahomes getting paid the big 5-0, $500 million. Pablo Hernandez, what the hell would you do with $500 million over the next 10 years?
That's honestly, I've never been asked a more difficult question in my entire life. I mean, not only is it $500 million, it's $503 million. I mean, they just had to throw the extra $3 million on there. That is a astronomical contract. That is a astronomical money figure. That is something that none of us, unless one of us hit it big or unless, before the score really goes, that far, I don't think that's something we ever have to deal with. But if I had $503 million, I think, number one, he's not going to get $503 million. He's not going to get a check right now. He's going to get it, over 10 years, $50 million a year or so. I'd probably buy lifetime Yankee season tickets. Man, I really don't know what I'd do. I'd probably buy a few houses. I'd buy a house
buy me a car?
in LA. What was that?
Would you buy me a car?
No, I wouldn't buy you a car. I'd buy myself a whole lot full of cars. You could work in my house. You could test drive the cars or so. But I'm not gifting any cars now.
With $503 million, you probably could cure Odell Beckhamitis. So you could put your money into something like that.
That's very interesting. With somebody like Odell Beckham, he has the opportunity to cure the disease himself. But, that's just something that goes along with having Odell Beckhamitis. He doesn't think about things like that. So, bro, $503 million, that is a huge contract. And I don't care who you are. I don't care what sport. I don't care if you play every single day. No man on this planet is worth $503 million.
I don't
see. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't agree with that at all, but I'll pass it off to Andrew. Andrew, start us off talking about if Patrick Mahomes deserves this contract.
Listen, I get the mindset of no one, no matter what they do, is worth that much money compared to what, the average hard worker makes. But you got to look at how much money he makes that organization. And it's a lot more than $500 million over the span of 10, 12 years. So he's worth every single penny. He's only going to win them games. He's the best quarterback on the planet. He's the youngest superstar quarterback. There's no one on the planet. There's no one in the league who deserves to even sniff that type of money but Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, congratulations, Patrick Mahomes, the largest American sports contract of all time. Absolutely huge. Good for him. From the Chiefs' perspective, I understand that you want to have your quarterback, the best quarterback in the league for the next 10 years on your team. I completely understand that, and that's why you lock him up for so long. However, if you were to get injured within these next couple of years, he's owed guaranteed money, I think $127 million or something like that, guaranteed money, so he'll get that. But for the rest of the contract, if he's still playing and he's not playing to his high-caliber level, you're in the hole big time with the salary cap. Now, I understand it's going to go up every season, and this contract won't look as bad towards the end, but it may be backloaded. We don't know the full details on the contract. If it's backloaded, this contract, he might be getting paid in his last couple of years $60 million a year, which is ridiculous when you think about how the salary cap, that's a third of your team's payroll right now as it stands, which is ridiculous. But for the short term, he's going to play under his $2 million deal, I think, next year. And then I think it goes up to $20 million. And then after that, the contract hits in. So for the short term, the Chiefs are definitely in a position to win. 100%. They could be a Super Bowl caliber team for the next 3 years because that contract isn't taking full effect, which is great. But years down the road, I don't know how much the Chiefs are going to be a contender. Although you got Patrick Mahomes on your team, do I really see them with that being able to bring in players because there's just not much money to be thrown around?
Patrick Mahomes is underpaid. This contract is undervaluing how special Patrick Mahomes is. If the Giants were debating on giving Patrick Mahomes that contract, I wouldn't even debate it. Give him the contract. I'd give him more. I'd give him $600. This guy is underpaid. He's going to take the Chiefs from 5 years ago. 5 years ago, the Chiefs were nothing. Alex Smith was the quarterback. They made the playoffs once. Nobody gave a damn about the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs is going to make a new generation of Chiefs fans that stick around. This is not just a football move. This is something for their marketing department. This is something this will grow the brand of the Kansas City Chiefs for the next 10, 20, 30 years and on. Patrick Mahomes is going to be a legend in Kansas City. And you have to look at it. The market is going to be reset over and over again over the next 10 years. This contract has to include those next 10 years. That entire length of time that Patrick Mahomes is missing out on getting paid for, you have to compensate him. Because if he wants to, he could take a 3-year deal every 3 years and just keep resetting the market because he's that good.
Question for you, Steve. If you're Jerry Jones right now, what are you thinking about Dak Prescott and seeing this deal get done?
Dak Prescott's not getting $500 million.
Of course not.
I'll tell you that. Dak Prescott, he's probably going to get a 3-year deal, and then he'll hit free agency, or quarterbacks never hit free agency unless your name's Kirk Cousins. So he won't hit free agency. But
you know what? Another thing with this contract is, right? Patrick Mahomes is so good in a profession where quarterbacks are probably one of the most important positions on that entire field. So the fact that there aren't that many dominant quarterbacks in the league, and the fact that Patrick Mahomes is so young, and he's this young phenom, he just came off a Super Bowl victory. That is why the Chiefs, they had to go out and do a big move like this. And look, let me tell you guys, I'm not against paying the big superstar. I'm not against paying your own. I love it. The only thing that gets to me is the fact that it is $500 million. In sports, you never know what's going to happen. You have such a young core now, but who's to say that now because of this thing, they can't afford to build around the Patrick Mahomes. They can't afford to provide the tools that a quarterback needs to be successful. And for Patrick Mahomes, look, it's great. He's on the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to be a competitor for many years to come, if all the guys do stick around. But this is something where a $500 million contract, it's tough. It's tough for any team.
I'm always going to side on the players getting as much money as they possibly can. And from the team's perspective, there's always a way around the cap. These teams and these GMs are wizards at finding cap room and spreading out that money to different years, different bonuses, different ways where you can still pay your quarterback $50 million and still build a competent roster. There's plenty of Super Bowl winning teams that had really expensive quarterbacks. You look at the Broncos with Peyton Manning. He was a free agent, who was making crazy money. They still went out, they drafted well. If you build a right team, you build a team the right way, you can afford having that stable quarterback who's always going to keep you at minimum lower tier playoff team.
And I think you're going to see players take less money to play with a guy like Patrick Mahomes. It happened with Tom Brady in New England. There's always a way to make it work with the money. You just have to make sure you have the right players in there, and you had to lock up Patrick Mahomes. And if a 10-year deal worth $500 million is what it took, then you have to do it. That's just the way I think. And next, let's keep it in football, but let's move on to a more controversial topic. And that is DeSean Jackson is under fire for some comments he made about Judaism and some quotes he quoted on his Instagram. And people are not happy. They're saying that nobody's coming out defending the Jewish community in this. So do you guys think that NFL players need to represent the Jewish community more?
Yeah, it's tough because they're not as represented in the league from a player's perspective. There's not a large percentage of NFL players who are part of the Jewish community. So it's hard to kind of have the players voice their support for something they're not directly involved in. But I mean, the whole DeSean Jackson situation is a weird spot, and it's a bad spot for the Eagles to be in. There's no win-win for the Eagles. I mean, either way, they either tolerate it and try to move past this, or they cut a player and really take away from the roster. It's a really shitty spot to be in.
Yeah, right now, DeSean Jackson, I understand in this new age of social reform, as a black man, it's very hard to be in a society like that, and you're pissed off all the time. But directing your hatred towards the Jewish community was not his best move. We saw Steven Jackson take his side, then later went on CNN and talked about it and completely kind of backtracked on it. You saw Stephen A. come out and say he's completely against what DeSean Jackson said. I mean, on the scope of things, you have the Eagles owner, who's a Jewish man. You have their GM, who is a Jewish man. and you say these comments. I mean, it's obviously going to rub them the wrong way, and we're going to have to see what DeSean Jackson's future holds now.
Well, definitely. And you know what, guys, with all this, cancel culture and all this, all these things that come upon having social media and everything, the one thing that really gets to me is, a guy like DeSean Jackson can say something like this, and guys kind of back off on all the criticism. But when somebody else says something going forward towards another type of race or another type of religion, or, whether it's your sexual orientation or preference, then they go upon attacking them. Now, if you're gonna go after somebody for saying one type of comment, you should go after everybody for saying any type of comment. This is why I am so against hate. I am so against things like that. At the end of the day, we should all care for each other. You get what I'm saying? So the fact that this isn't being made more of a deal than what it actually is, it just bothers me.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think that DeSean Jackson, I'm not going to say he should be cut, but it wouldn't be the end of the world if he got cut. And I think that he obviously needs to learn more about the stuff he was speaking on and see why that was so offensive. Posting quotes from a book that wasn't even Hitler's writing, it was debunked that it wasn't even that, but the end of the quote says Hitler was right. It's just, when should you ever post that in any situation? So it's just, you need to have more awareness than that. And I hope that somebody is able to educate him. I know that Julian Edelman said that he wanted to bring him to Washington, D.C. and talk and go see the Holocaust Museum and everything, which I've been to, which is I don't want to say it's not an awesome place, but it's an educational place. You learn a lot there. So
yeah, when you look at the Eagles roster in these last couple of years, you had DeSean Jackson, and he's not on the field. And the one thing they really lacked was that deep ball threat. So you're getting rid of – I understand Jalen Reagor's coming into the team. He's a young player. He could be that deep ball threat. We don't know what we're going to get from him. But DeSean Jackson, when he's on the field with on the Eagles, they look such a better team. So DeSean Jackson's a very important piece to this puzzle. So we'll see. Like I said before, we'll see his future.
Listen, I'm not going to sit here and try to defend DeSean Jackson at all. What he said was horrible. You never look at a quote and see Hitler in it and then post it anywhere. That's something that should never have been posted, and he should face some sort of consequences. But he's done everything right since then. He's apologized multiple times. He's looking to educate himself more about the Jewish community. He's listening to other players and other people who were rubbed the wrong way by it. So, I mean, I think if he stays this course of handling it this way, I don't think he will get cut.
Let's switch gears here and go from the NFL to the MLB. And the MLB has had some trouble with their testing procedures. Do you guys foresee this being a problem for this season?
Well, I'll start off here. And number one, the key to any team winning, the 60-game season, and for any team winning the World Series, is to be healthy. And the team who ultimately will win the 2020 World Series is going to be the team that, in my eyes, and this was a great idea brought up, by one of my coworkers, the team that stays out of the way of this virus. You get what I'm saying? Because if one person has it and he contracts the virus and he infects several other key players, that can really kill and damage a season for a team. I mean, you're talking about not only one star, but few stars being out for a number of games in a season that you cannot afford to have guys out. So this is going to be huge in Major League Baseball this year.
Yeah, I mean, testing is the most important part for this league to go on. If they're not being able to get test results in time, if they're not going to be able to get tests out in general, how are you going to have an MLB season? This is the most important part of getting sports back, is revamping the testing and making sure the testing is coming back very quickly. The UFC's done a great job with that. Obviously, it's not nearly as big as an organization as the MLB. The MLB really needs to get that in line because, like Pablo said, if a player has to be out for at least 14 days, what is that, 10, 11 games? That's a sixth of the season already right there. And if it's your superstar, that really hurts you.
Yeah, I mean, you look at every sport and every kind of industry in this country right now, they're all having delays with testing and stuff. So there's a part of it that's pretty unavoidable due to all the recent spikes in cases in different states that opened up early. So those spikes in cases are going to really increase the amount of testing that goes on and makes it slower for MLB to get these tests back because they can't, pay for like expedited shipping for these tests. So they had to wait the same amount of time as like most people do. So it might not be feasible to get testing done and accurate every 1 to 2 days. You might have to, be a little more precautious that you might not get your test back for like 3-4 days.
I get it. The MLB doesn't want to take tests away from civilians. They don't want to say they're more important than the average man. But guess what? They are. They need the test a little bit more right now. The players need to be tested and it needs to come back quicker so we can get these games in.
And it's not like they can't afford it. I mean, look, these owners are millionaires. They could definitely afford. If they want to have a test done every single day, they could. They very well could have a test done every day with the results coming back every single day. They could, and it is possible because if the technology is out there, anything can be done.
And you're selling them short by calling them millionaires. Those are billionaires out there.
Billionaires, I'm sorry.
You can't buy priority for like a public like testing facility. Like if they want to research their own and buy their own lab, then go for it. But if you're going through the same labs and shit that like normal people are going through, it's not going to be any faster no matter how much money you have.
What they need to do is get private testing facilities, and then everything will just be a lot smoother because having the MLB baseball players go through public testing facilities just like regular Joe Schmo, like Pablo had to go through, that's just not how it's going to work. You're not going to have Gleyber Torres' results. You need Gleyber Torres' results a little more than Pablo Hernandez's. I'm sorry, Pablo.
All right, so can we not talk about Gleyber Torres and Corona in the same sentence? That's number one. Number two, another thing that goes along with this is the fact that if you aren't doing testing, let's say every day or every other day, it is very possible that one guy can have it and spread it to the rest of the clubhouse and not even know it because of the fact that they are not testing on a regular basis. And that is something that it is going to affect all major sports. We see it is affecting wrestling. The negligence of the lack of testing is going to be very harmful to the sport. And I just absolutely love what the Toronto Blue Jays are doing. I'm not sure if you guys know. They have a hotel. I know you guys have all been to the Rogers Center, except for you, Andrew. They have a hotel in the Rogers Center. All the players are going to be staying in the hotel, which I think is phenomenal. That is its own little bubble. It's its own little world. You can go to bed. You can wake up. You're right in the ballpark. You can take some BP. That is something that I don't think it's possible in all major stadiums, but I love that fact.
Yeah, it sounds like a nice deal. Wake up, walk down the staircase, and you're at the baseball field. So let's talk. Pablo, you brought up billionaires. Let's talk about billionaires a little more because the New York Mets are for sale. Dan, I want to know, who do you think's going to buy the New York Mets?
Well, there's been reports of the body armor, the body armor guy or whatever. I don't remember his name. With Dave Portnoy, we have that. We have the J-Lo bid. Sorry, I think I got those mixed up.
I think they're together.
All together. Sorry, that one all together. Then you have the Harrison Blitzer group, who owns the Devils and 76ers. Then you have Steve Cohen. So I think Steve Cohen is going to win this deal, to be honest. There's been reports that he was going to be the lead bidder, then he backed out, and now they're saying he's not even going to show up to bid. He's just going to outbid whatever the highest number is. He's going to go further. And I completely could see that. This guy's a Mets fan. He's got a lot of money. I think he's worth $11 billion. This is a small purchase for him. And honestly, I would love A-Rod to be part of it. I know you guys all know how much I love A-Rod, and I want him to be manager and owner. I think he'd be a very good owner for the Mets. But looking at Steve Cohen, and he has the money to spend, that's what the Mets have been lacking for so long, is we have not seen these owners go out and pay the big bucks for a superstar. So if Steve Cohen could get this deal done by the end of the year, hey, maybe Mookie Betts could come to New York, So I'm very optimistic about this bid because I'm so happy to see the damn Wilpons out of New York.
Listen, this is the same situation with Steve Cohen that they had months back when he originally sent his bid, which is going to be a lot more than what he's going to offer now because the value has dropped ever since the pandemic hit. But I think no matter what happens, he can outbid any other bidder. It's the fact that him and the Wilpons, like they quote unquote like fixed their relationship in recent days. But you don't know how true that is. You don't know how they actually feel about each other. You don't know how the whole deal with SNY, control over SNY, control over the Mets, because the original plan was was that the Wilpons stay in control for 5 years. That might not be on the table anymore. So there's a lot of negotiations outside the dollar figure that are going to have to be worked out. But I think as long as they can get that done, money-wise, it should be Cohen.
Yeah, while it would be nice, I don't even know it would be nice. It'd be interesting to see an ownership group of A-Rod, J-Lo, Portnoy, Body Armor, billionaire. That would be interesting. But Steve Cohen is by far and away the best choice. Steve Cohen can help turn the Mets into what the Dodgers are right now. Hopefully a couple more World Series in between, though. He's a lifelong fan of the team, and I hope the 5-year deal thing has to be off the table. It has to be, because if Cohen could come in, take over now, he has the money to. The Wilpons, you mucked it all up. You had a shot. Give up S and Y, give Cohen the team, and everybody will be happy. That's what has to happen.
There's definitely got to be some bad blood between the Mets and Steve Cohen. When an offer is on the table, and I don't know if for a fact the details were agreed upon, but you have to be a man of your word in a business aspect. You get what I'm saying? So when something like this is discussed, and then you go and you change the narrative, and you're like, you know what? No, I want to do this, but. And you cannot be like that, especially when you're talking about a $1 billion team with the New York Mets. Personally, I don't think the Mets are going to be selling anytime soon. I just think there are just way too many hurdles and too many things that have to happen. And if Cohen isn't the guy, I don't think anyone is the guy.
I don't know. I really think they're going to be selling. They're taking bids. They want everyone's final bid. They want to see what that number is, and I expect that number to be enough to sell the team. But you look at it like what Andrew said before the pandemic, I mean, we're talking $250 to $500 million more Steve Cohen would have had to pay then than he has to now, because that much has devalued the team because of this pandemic, which is insane amount. The valuation of the Mets has gone only down so far. This is good. That's why all these bidders are coming. That's why there's 4. We don't even know if these guys in the other country, I don't even know who the hell they are coming in to bid on them too. So there might be 4 bids of over $1 billion. The valuation drops, everyone comes flocking to the Mets. I like to see it because I like some passion around here. We haven't had passion for a while.
The Mets want that oil money.
I'll take Man City oil money at this point.
What it's going to come down to is how much the Wilpons are willing to pay for swallowing their pride. Because if they'll just swallow their pride and sell to Cohen, then they're going to save, because he's going to outbid anybody by a decent margin. So if they want to take the lower offer just to keep their pride intact, it's going to hurt them. It's going to hurt their wallets.
All right, guys, let's say an owner comes out of nowhere and says, you know what? I'm going to buy the Mets, but I'm going to change their entire identity. I'm going to change their team name. I'm going to change their team logo. I'm going to
go to the next topic.
Colors. What would you guys say if somebody
it's not even debatable. It's not going to happen.
To the New York Mops. And personally, I think that's a better name.
Who, Pablo, riddle me this. Who was Alex Rodriguez's favorite team growing up?
I'm not going to answer that on the air.
All right. Well, now that we know what Pablo would do with $500 million, we can move on to the next topic, because obviously you would change the Mets name to the Mops or whatever you think. Whatever you think is funny.
Owning the Mets with $500 million.
One question this week comes from PK Patel, and he wants to know our thoughts on the food that the NBA players are getting in the Disney bubble.
I did see the tray, and I saw on Twitter someone quote tweeted, "No way, LeBron eating this."
So what are we talking here? What's on that tray? Because I am hungry.
Bag of chips.
Pablo, I'm talking your inmates are probably eating better.
What do you mean?
Chicken catcher.
Yeah, it was just a very bland tray of food. You would expect it to be. I mean, these billionaires that are coming and playing basketball, you would expect them to have a little better of a meal.
Hey, it's still better than what I got on the Disney trip. You know, they're definitely getting Mickey waffles for breakfast.
You can.
I got to look this up.
It's just a couple playing games in a tournament in a playoff. They'll be all right.
Mm-hmm. And apparently the food that they took the pictures of is because they have to do a mandatory 48-hour quarantine. After that, they're gonna get whatever the hell they want. So, if they gotta eat like us for 2 days. So I think they'll live.
What is this? Airline food? What is this? Well, whatever, right? I mean, you're telling me LeBron, he can't call up his local Pizza Hut and say, you know what, bro? Send me over a nice pie. The stuffed crust, just send it over with the pepperoni and the toppings. He could definitely do whatever he wants. This is LeBron James.
LeBron is going to be going after pizzas right now. I think he's more focused on
Florida. You think LeBron's ordering Florida pizza?
That's
Pizza Hut.
First off, you think that he's ordering pizza after watching The Last Dance? There's literally a 20-minute segment on that. And number two, LeBron literally owns Blaze Pizza.
I know he owns Pizza Hut. I mean, I understand that he owns Blase Pizza. He can do whatever he wants. I was just throwing it out there that if a man is hungry, the man is going to eat.
And you know LeBron's getting his wine fix in every single night. LeBron's in the nicest suite at whatever hotel they're at.
Adam Silver.
Our other question comes from Dave Stolte, and this is going to play into our next segment because, like we said last week, we are teaching Pablo the sport of football. Pablo, he wants to quiz you. He wants to know how many 2019 Pro Bowlers can you name?
Okay.
Which, it could be difficult, honestly.
Honestly, it could
be 4.5.
For NFL, it's tough.
But Pablo,
could be difficult, but how many Pro Bowlers are there?
There's a lot. Keep your eye on the screen. Do not look at that damn phone. I know we're not in person today, so we can't tell. So I've pulled it up here. Pablo, let's say you get 10. We'll see if you can get to 10 Pro Bowlers.
And before you start,
he's going to get
a little hint. Players that played in the Pro Bowl or got into the Pro Bowl before the Super Bowl, because if you go to the Super Bowl, you're not you're Pro Bowler, but you're not playing in the Pro Bowl, So who are you counting?
Yeah, but aren't they roster
non-Super Bowl players that were in the Pro Bowl?
I'm going off of what Pro Football Reference is telling me online right now.
Are there any Niners on there?
There are. So I guess that it's everybody included.
Okay.
All right, so probably get 3 wrong, you get 10 right. We'll see if you can beat the Dave Stolte.
You know how hard it is to get 3 wrong? It's ridiculous.
Do you know how many Pro Bowlers there are?
All right. Patrick Mahomes.
All right, that was easy.
Okay, that's 1. Oh, brother. Drew Brees.
All right, 2 for 2.
Okay. I'm gonna go to how's his name? Oh, this is gonna bother me. This is gonna bother me.
You got the entire NFL, man.
What position?
Stop. His name. All right. Julio Jones.
Was Julio Jones a Pro Bowler? And no, he was not a Pro Bowler.
Julio Jones not a Pro Bowler.
Oh, he was. I was looking on
Let's go. That's what I thought.
Yes, he was. Man, there were a lot of wide receivers in the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
Yes, he was. Right, you're lucky. I'm sorry.
I don't think this freak was any good last year. I can't think of this dude's name, but this is gonna bother me.
Eli Manning.
No, man, he's a running back.
What team?
All right. Let's stop. Let's get focused here. Okay, that's 3. I'm gonna go Joey Bosa, number 4.
Joey Bosa was a Pro Bowler.
Okay.
4-0.
All right, so let's think about some teams here. Okay, let's think about teams. Okay. Well, Lamar Jackson.
Yes, that was the obvious one.
Okay. Man, what's this idiot's name? Why can't I think of his name?
Dude, you got the whole NFL.
Is he very big?
He's very fast.
Back or a wide receiver?
Stop. All right, now you're putting things in my head. Okay, so I have 5.
You're halfway home.
All right, this guy wasn't very good last year. I'm gonna say, Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson was good last year. I hope that wasn't the guy you were thinking about, but he is a Pro Bowler. He almost won the MVP.
Okay. Oh, Jerry Garoppolo, Jimmy G.
Jimmy G was not a Pro Bowler.
What?
It
I
was
knew
not.
it. Bro, that dude is nothing but bad news. Let me tell you.
So what is it? 6-1 now?
7. I have 7.
7. Okay, yeah, Lamar was 6.
What's this guy's name? Oh man, this is gonna bother me.
I have 2 inclinations of who he's thinking of.
Who do you think and if you say it, no, it's no. Who do you think?
What? I'm not gonna say.
It's not gonna count if you say it. Just say it.
Derrick Henry.
No.
I thought okay, Pablo, I'm going to get one
Hill.
too. Yeah, that's what I thought you were thinking of. Tyreek Hill.
Oh, it's another one. Oh man.
We're thinking
I
of
was thinking his name.
No, I thought those were the 2 he was thinking of.
Yeah,
No.
me too.
Okay. So I got those guys over there.
Need 3 more.
Man, just throw out some teams. I'm having a brain fart. Give me some teams.
Pablo, you named all the teams last week, man. You're not retaining the information we are giving you.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, what's this guy's name?
Oh, I've heard this story.
No, there's just so many teams.
Start thinking out loud, like team. You know, like what team, like what position?
Oh man, he was on the Raiders and then he got traded to the Browns. What is his name?
Gary.
Yeah. What is his name? I have no clue who you're thinking of.
He was on the Raiders. He got traded to the Browns. All right, Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers was a Pro Bowler.
Oh, I got 2 more.
Pro Bowlers. Jeez.
There was a lot. That's all the half of Pablo's guesses. He's getting lucky.
More than that.
Okay, so I need 2 more players. Oh, man, I don't know if I'm gonna go with the Idis, Odell Beckham.
Receivers.
Odell Beckham Jr. was not a Pro Bowler.
No,
I knew it.
You got 2 wrong. You might not make it to 10. There's almost 100 Pro Bowlers, man.
What the hell is this guy's name? Oh.
Andrew, did the Jets have a Pro Bowler?
Yeah, Jamal. All pro.
Thanks for that.
I was trying to
Giants.
think of my hand. I didn't think you'd say it, but
Giants didn't have any.
They
Vikings
didn't?
had 5. 4 or 5.
The Vikings had 5, huh?
4 or 5, I think. 4? 4.
Man,
I wouldn't know any of them except maybe one.
just give me a team, dude. Just give me a team and I'll get it. Just give me a team.
Redskins.
I'm so ashamed. So ashamed.
Yeah, I think our listeners are too.
Oh my God, Matt Ryan. Just
Matt
give it
Ryan was not a Pro Bowler, Pablo. You didn't make it. Are you kidding me?
What were some of the obvious ones he missed on offense?
Dave Stolte beats Pablo in
Lamar
this
Jackson.
challenge. You missed Christian McCaffrey.
After Lamar Jackson.
No, he got Lamar.
When did you get
Derek, you missed Ezekiel Elliott. Yeah, you got Lamar.
Oh my! The whole time he was in my head.
I'm saying, as soon as like the first one you got stumped on, you're like, oh, I know who this idiot is.
George Kittle.
No,
Pablo,
I was thinking about.
Kelsey.
I was
Were you
thinking
thinking
about.
of Khalil Mack?
Yeah, I was.
Browns.
Bears.
TJ Watt.
I said Browns.
Man, that was Justin Tucker even, the kicker.
Yeah.
What about? I was thinking of the running back from the Giants.
Saquon Barkley was not a
Yeah,
Pro
but I couldn't
Bowler.
think of his name.
He was injured last year.
Pablo, that was tough, man. Deshaun Watson.
Hey, all right. So for next week, I say we have a baseball theme questionnaire.
Okay, maybe.
That's not
Pablo,
the name.
but okay, Dave Stolte gave you a little bonus quiz because this is a quiz that I had planned for you this week. And this week, in honor of Hamilton going on Disney Plus, and you need to go back to college. So we're taking you to college football, and we're going to quiz you.
God.
We're going to ask you, I'm going to give you a name, and you're going to tell me, is it a college football coach or a U.S. president?
What? Okay. Go.
Do you think you can get 10 right?
Let's go. I got my hat on. Let's go.
Can he go 10 for 10?
Do you think you can get them all?
I don't
Yes.
think so.
All right, Pablo. Are you ready?
Yes.
College football coach?
Wait. Before we start, is there anyone that's gonna stump me? Like, is somebody has a president name and a?
No.
Okay. Let's see.
All right. Are you ready?
This should be interesting.
Here we go. Number 1. We have Frosty Westering.
That's not a president. So, college football coach.
Correct. All right. So you're 1 for 1. Calvin Coolidge.
President. Let's go next.
I'm surprised you actually. I didn't know if you'd know who that is. All right. Warren G. Harding.
Oof. Oof. That's a tough one. I'm gonna go with college coach.
Incorrect. That's a
What?
president.
No way.
All right. So you got 2 right, 1 wrong.
Don't go in the middle. I feel like if it has a middle initial, it's definitely a president. Don't go in the middle initial.
All right. Charles Wilkinson.
That's a college.
That is a college coach. I don't know why you're so adamant about it. All right. John McKay.
College.
Okay. So that's what, 5?
Come on.
4.
I do.
4-1 right now.
All right. Rutherford Hayes.
Is it Rutherford, or are you just doing that to mess with me?
Either way.
It's the same name either way.
College.
That's a president, man.
Oh my God!
Deep Hayes, bro. Come on.
It's because you said Rutherford. I thought you were trying to get me.
Maybe
All right,
I was. Ulysses Grant.
Ulysses S. Grant is a president. Come on.
All right. Thank God you got that one. That was kind of I grooved one in there for you.
Gimme.
All right. Bear Bryant.
Coach.
That was another easy one for you.
Maybe $50 if you know what team he coached.
I'm good.
All right. Tubby Raymond.
Coach.
All right. Pablo's on fire here.
Yeah.
What are you at? 7 or 8?
Something like that.
All right. Joe Paterno.
Coach. Come on, bro.
Dude, I don't know your knowledge of your knowledge of college football coaches might be a little better than your NFL head coaches. All right.
But it's more like process elimination of they're not a president.
All right, Pablo, ready? Chester Arthur.
Coach.
Oh my God, you lost. That's a president, man.
Are you kidding? Bro, I've never heard of these
You got
president
3
names in my entire life. What is a Chester? I gotta look this guy up.
Chester A or Chester B. Arthur, I think.
A. Arthur.
A. Arthur. Yeah.
He was president in 1881 to 1885.
Oh
Republican.
wow! Excuse me.
And he never
He
had
was the 21st president. Yeah, I'm supposed to know that.
he never had a vice president either.
He looks like the butcher from AEW.
You didn't get it. Come on, man. That was a rough showing from you, history wise and college football coach wise.
That was bad.
Oh man. Those are actually like I got the obvious ones wrong. That's what gets me
And
mad.
45 presidents go.
What's up? No, I'm next. Next question.
I think that's all the questions we have. But Pablo, can you name 5 presidents that weren't in your lifetime?
Yeah.
I don't see.
Harry S. Truman. All right. So do they
Wait, what?
do they have to be the ones that I named? Okay, so I'm to do the ones that weren't in my lifetime that we didn't even name. Harry S. Truman, John F. Kennedy, George Bush Sr. wasn't in our lifetime. Ronald Reagan.
There's a lot of other options you could have went.
A lot.
Ronald Reagan. Richard Nixon. All right, I'll do a bonus one.
Do 5 more.
Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, Teddy Roosevelt. Come on, bro.
Franklin.
No,
Yeah,
not Ben.
Yeah, Pablo, I guess you know some presidents, but man, we got you on those.
Edison.
All right. Question is, who's going to be our next president? Is it going to be Kanye West? I think this is something we should talk about on the show.
I don't
Because personally,
think you get political in here. Maybe you
personally,
have your own segment.
Politics with Pablo.
I really don't know, man. I really don't know. If Kanye is president, I might have to go to Canada, bro. That's it. Everyone in the White House is going to be wearing Yeezys and they're all going to look fly, but they're not going to know what to do. It's not going to be the right thing.
Kind of fire.
You know that's not going to happen, right?
I don't know. I really don't know.
You know that he doesn't. You know he doesn't have a shot, right?
I don't know.
You know that.
You know this.
I don't know that.
It's very important you get this through your head.
I hope so, but I don't know that.
It'd be the most impressive 5-month campaign of all time.
I'll tell you what. If he's president, who's going to be president after him? Is it going to be Tyler Creator? That'd be kind of fire.
What's happening right now?
I don't think he'd be old enough, and I think you're
Jaden Smith in 40 years.
I don't think I ever should have brought up this president stuff.
Matthew McConaughey. I mean, all right. We know.
All right, before we end the show, Dan, give me a prediction for UFC this weekend.
Oh, we saw Gilbert Burns test positive for coronavirus, and he was facing Kamaru Usman. You have Kamaru Usman now facing Masvidal, and this fight has been in the making. We saw them they're running at the Super Bowl. They had a very heated exchange. This is going to be a great fight. It's going to be so exciting. I think as a plus 200 dog, I think there's a lot of value with Jorge Masvidal. I like Peter Yan going up against Jose Aldo. I don't think Yan is the best in the division, but Aldo's past his prime, in my opinion. And then to the co-main event with Max Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski. Max is pissed. He lost his title. He got beaten up in the last fight he fought in. But I'm a little skeptical with him. I think he's plus 185 dog. But the thing is with Max Holloway is he didn't have any sparring this camp, which is not a good sign at all. So I think Volkanovski definitely has the edge. And if Volkanovski were to win, my prediction is Henry Cejudo comes back from retirement and fights for the 145-pound belt.
I wouldn't be mad if Henry Cejudo never fought in the UFC again. So, maybe I'll be rooting for Max Holloway for the first time in my life.
Max Holloway is probably my favorite MMA fighter other than Daniel Cormier right now.
Every time I've picked Max Holloway to win a fight, he's lost.
I picked once and he lost.
Hey, it checks out.
One thing. The fourth fight on the card, Rose Namajunas versus Jessica Andrade for the number one contender spot in the strawweight division. Rose Namajunas has been going through a lot lately in her head with coronavirus. She's not in a good spot right now mentally. I don't believe that at all. And her flying to another country across the world during a pandemic, I don't have good faith in her. I think Jessica Andrade's going to win that fight, and she's a big underdog, Jessica Andrade.
Well, your last tip on Platinum Mike Perry didn't really work out, so I hope this one is a little more educated.
Well, Platinum Mike Perry just punched an old man in the face, so
yeah, he went a little crazy himself now too. So you were a couple of weeks late
for his Mickey Gall pick.
What's up?
Yeah, Mickey Gall.
Dan to apologize for his Mickey Gall pick.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Mickey Gall's a brand name. Don't you guys know?
I had some faith in the kid, but I mean, the only person in Mike Perry's corner was his girlfriend. I was the rat taking the cheese on that fight. I'm like, there's no way he's gonna win. And he beat the crap out of Mickey Gall.
Hey, put your money on Masvidal this week. This guy is going to win. I'm telling you. Jorge Masvidal.
Very, very, very good fighter. I wouldn't be too certain about that, but I think at plus 200, there's a lot of value to be made.
There's not many fights where he's going to be an underdog.
Oh, yeah.
So that's my prediction. Masvidal, put your money on that guy. But that's all we got for episode number 30 of the Before the Score podcast. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us for 30 episodes. Cheers to the next 30 more. Before the Score.